welcome to this week's episode of HealthWise. In collaboration with the St. Kitts Nevis and Dental Association, I am your host, Dr. Monique Lescott. Tonight's show is a very interesting one. The topic covered this evening is a very rarely discussed topic, but it's very vital to medicine nonetheless, and that topic will be the role of the laboratory in the clinical setting. So with me tonight, I have one of the pathology lab technicians, Miss Nichelle Huggins. She's on my right, and Miss Jasmine Hanley from the QDL. So these are my two guests this evening. I will allow them to introduce themselves. So which one of you guys want to go first? Because I had you before, so I'll let you. You can introduce yourself, Miss Nichelle Huggins, and you can just tell us briefly what you do.
Okay, my name is Nichelle Huggins, and I work in the pathology laboratory, and I am a student lab technician. Basically, I perform tests under the supervision of the medical technologists. I have worked in departments such as chemistry, hematology, microbiology, and blood bank.
Oh, awesome! And you said you're a student.
Student lab technician.
And you have covered all of those things, those subspecialties.
Yes, yes, I
I'm
have.
very impressed by that. That's really good. I love to see young women doing their own thing, you know. And so I have on my immediate left Miss Jasmine Hanley of QDL. So you can introduce yourself also and tell us what your job is, your job description.
Thank you, Dr. Lescott. Good evening to all viewers, all interested persons. My name is Jasmine Hanley. I'm one of the older persons around. I've worked I was lab manager at Joseph N. France General Hospital for about 16 years. After retirement, I left and started my own business called Quality Diagnostic Laboratory. I am the laboratory manager there, so I oversee the testing in all the departments, clinical chemistry, special chemistry or immunochemistry, cytology. We don't do histology, no microbiology. Yes, so make sure that everything is being done correctly.
Awesome. I have one quick question though. In all of my, discussions when it comes to laboratory investigations and whatnot, I've never heard many of you really make mention of like forensic pathological findings or forensic dealings. Do you guys do any of that? Do you have to do any of that at JNF?
It's only in the clinical laboratory setting. It's not forensic.
Forensics does come in, but not in our setting, except for the pathologist.
Mm-hmm.
The pathologist is our clinical head of the lab, and he will deal. He there too. Mm-hmm. They deal with the postmortems, or the autopsies, postmortems, and some of the criminal cases. Mm-hmm. But there are programs for forensic medicine that technologists do get into, but we presently don't have any here.
Really? Okay.
On the island.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so we'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we can elaborate a bit more on the topic.
Looking for a new vehicle? Horsford's automotive division has exactly what you need. Reliable performance, modern design, and a team committed to getting you on the road with confidence. From everyday drives to exciting upgrades, quality and service come standard. Ready to refresh your home? Visit Ashley Furniture Home Store at Horsford's. Discover statement pieces, stylish accents, and comfort designed to elevate your space instantly. Planning a project? The Building Center provides premium paints mixed to perfection and expert guidance every step of the way. Bring your ideas to life with ease. Automotive, home style, building essentials, all in one trusted destination. Make it simple. Make it smart. Experience everything Horsford's has to offer today. Try Horsford's first.
Good evening and welcome back. For all those of you in TV, radio land, or YouTube land, it's me again, your host, Dr. Monique Lescott. And this evening's topic would be the role of the laboratory in clinical investigations. So again, I will introduce my guests, Miss Jasmine Hanley to my immediate left, and Miss Nichelle Huggins to my immediate right. So who wants to open the discussion?
Well, the clinical laboratory isn't just a place where one goes behind a wall and presses a button and gets a result. It is quite complex. And we analyze patient specimens, such as blood, urine tissue samples, and body fluids, to aid in the diagnosis of disease. These tests help the healthcare professionals to confirm or rule out specific diagnoses. I'd like to mention here that medical test results account for 70% of medical diagnoses.
So we depend heavily on the labs.
The lab is a very important part of the healthcare system.
It gives like a more definitive, I should say, for treatment.
It's really the backbone.
It is the evidence that you need, that you're looking for.
It's the backbone. That's
the
good.
backbone, yeah.
Or the backbone, yes. We also do screening and early detection, screening for various conditions, including infectious diseases, genetic disorders, cancer markers. And an important part of our work is monitoring and disease management. So it is quite a complex discipline, and within the lab itself there are several disciplines. Maybe Nichelle would like to talk a little bit about the various disciplines, hematology, etc.
Okay, so there are different departments such as chemistry, hematology, blood bank, and microbiology. And chemistry really accounts for like the tumor markers, like drugs of abuse, and checking for like diseases of like the kidneys, like we check for the liver and all of those stuff. Hematology looks for blood disorders. Microbiology, we grow
Cultures.
we do cultures to grow certain organisms to rule out certain diseases.
That's actually a very interesting thing to do, you know. I don't think people understand when you do a blood culture, you actually have to take the blood sample and you put it in an incubation type of machinery, and you can actually see bacterial or fungal growth based on the conditions that you set inside of the machinery. So when you set the blood under a microscope, you can actually see the growth. I didn't realize that you can actually see bacterial growth.
What also plays into blood cultures as well is that the preparation for the patient in terms of like cleaning the area, because if it's not cleaned properly, then you can
contaminated.
Yeah, and you will have like growth which is just normal skin flora, so you won't actually get to determine which organism it is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tricky. That's
What is important about the culture and sensitivity is that we report back to the doctors which antibiotics will work on what organisms. So again, the importance of the laboratory result.
But quick question. I remember when I first came back from school, I was asking, I can't remember what was the name of the machinery, like, but for instance, if I want to determine which antibiotic, for instance, to use, because I already did my clinical assessment and I already determined it's a bacterial infection. Bacteria is a wide plethora of bacteria, so there's different antibiotics for different bacteria. There's a sensitivity strip that, you know, I forgot what you call it, like a dipstick for some of it. Do we have that here? That you can actually have like a chart, kind of like a small little card, and you can kind of match. I had to do
what
something.
we have are antibiograms.
Yes.
So you have little circles of antibiotics.
So we do it. We have it here.
We use that for identifying which organism is sensitive or resistant to the antibiotics that we test.
The reason I ask is because I feel like sometimes we have a propensity to use a lot of broad spectrum antibiotics, and I really would prefer if we try to narrow down and zero in on the specific organism and treat that instead of using broad spectrum.
Well, culture does take a little while. It takes 3 days. Basically, if there is an organism growing, you've got to grow it on the first day. The second day, you have to test the biochemicals, and that's another 24 hours.
So I guess the broad spectrum is, I guess because of timing, they would prescribe something.
Blood culture that you mentioned takes up to about 8 days.
So then that's what I was saying. When I was overseas, there was I can't remember the name of it. Yes, that it doesn't take 3 days. It took maybe 20 minutes.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
I have not used any of those, but I can't recall the name right now. Maybe Nisha.
Yes, I did it like, I'm not trying to sound old, let me not say that, but I did have to do the cultures, and it didn't take 3 days, so that's why I was, asking about using, antibiotics that is specific to the organism. That's just my observation.
I think, and also talking about antibiotics too, we also have to mention like patients being resistant.
That's what I was about to say. Do we have a lot of antibiotic resistance around here, you find?
There is some. There's
MRSA
methylene resistant.
Oh gosh, don't mention MRSA is a nightmare.
Yeah, that's upstream. So one has to be very careful with that, because antibiotic use is it's a problem in the world right now. We're not getting very many more.
They're not. I was about to say they're not developing any newer generations. So then, how many generations are we at right now?
I don't know how many generations, but it can be a problem in the future. There have been a lot of discussions on this.
I think the authorities are actually quite concerned about that.
Exactly.
Because it means if we should ever have any outbreaks of anything, I don't think people understand how underprepared that event can be. A bit overwhelming for where we're at right now in terms of our evolution in medicine, because as
that's
you said,
not just only us.
No, it's worldwide. No,
yes.
That's worldwide. I understand.
Yeah.
That's very much understood. Okay, I think we're off to a very good and interesting start, because it's a topic that, like I said, we don't really discuss very widely, but it's very essential.
What about like when we prescribe patients antibiotics, and then because they feel like on the first day, like
and then they stop
taking them, that can also contribute to that as well.
Definitely contributes to the resistance. So we have a lot of non-compliance, you think?
I think so, because I've heard many people say, I take this antibiotic and in 2 days I don't feel better, so I don't need to continue.
Oh, that's very scary.
So that also contributes to it as well.
But they do taste bad. So
nobody like antibiotics.
But as you know, Dr. Lescott, the course has to be followed to the end.
So
the effect first, efficacy.
I understand.
You can't play with antibiotics. No.
But I think people take that for granted.
Perhaps there isn't enough
education about
information going out there. I sometimes wonder about the amount of education that goes out to the general public on various health matters. I know many organizations try their best to deliver what is possible, but sometimes there isn't a lot of it, not sufficient information. So.
Okay, I understand. So, where are we going to go from here with the discussion?
We hadn't completed
go ahead.
The areas of the lab.
Go ahead. I think the last one you mentioned, it was
hematology, where we rule out blood disorders like the leukemias, and test for like sickle cell. We do blood groups. We do the erythrocyte sedimentation rates. We do the blood. Would that come under like allergy when you're testing for allergies? No,
that's separate.
That's separate, right? Okay.
And we also do like the smears to read the differentials. So like where we would count the different white blood cells, and they check the morphology of the red blood cells as well. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So when it comes to like things like tissue biopsy, does JNF do any of those, or does
As
QDL?
histology, yes. Our QDL doesn't do the histology. We do cytology.
You have to definitely tell the general public the difference between the histology and the cytology.
Histology is the study of tissue. So when someone has an operation or at autopsy, pieces of tissue are taken, selected by the doctor, and they're sent to the lab for the pathologist to section, stain, and investigate and give a result. Cytology is the study of the cell. You know, the cell is a basic building block of the human body. So whilst hematology is of the tissue itself, cytology is the study of the cell.
So it's more, I guess, more detailed.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. You have there are different aspects of cytology. The most popular one being the pap smear, gynecological cytology. And then there is non-gynecological cytology, which deals with all the other areas.
So men don't have to do cytologies?
Yes, lymph nodes, synovial fluids,
I was just wondering.
bronchial specimens.
We have to keep it equal.
But they don't do pap smears for obvious reasons. But definitely the non-gynae cytology is done on both sexes. So yes, that's the difference, the tissue and the cells.
Gotcha. So we're going to take a few short commercial breaks to pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
Swipe your card, live your life. National Bank Life is nice. You can spend it when you want it, how you like, where you like. Swipe your card, live your life. National Bank Life is nice. Home or away, any time of the day. Credit or debit, right in your pocket. With National Bank card, so many benefits. Oh yeah, the choice is yours. Just come and embrace it.
Live your life your way with purchases big or small. Mango, nuts, breadfruit and all.
You can spend it when you want it, how you like, where you like. Swipe your card, live your life. National Bank Life is nice.
Welcome back, everyone, to everyone in TV land, radio land, and YouTube land. Thank you very much for tuning in. I am your host, Dr. Lescott. We're going to continue our topic tonight on the role of the laboratory in clinical investigations with my two very illustrious guests, Ms. Nichelle Huggins, Pathology Laboratory at JNF, and Ms. Jasmine Hanley at QDL. We're going to continue on the discussion. We're going to elaborate a bit more. Let's take it to the next topic.
So one of the not upcoming because it's in place already, methods of testing is PCR, and this is molecular biology, molecular testing. This played out very well in the COVID pandemic. And we are seeing that very many more tests are being developed using molecular biology. Things such as HPV testing, human papillomavirus testing, some of the other sexually transmitted diseases like CTNG, chlamydia trachomatis, and gonorrhea. We also and things like trichomonas, and which we used to just put on the slide and observe the movement of the organism. That also can be done by molecular testing. So, things are moving. The lab doesn't stay still.
It's evolving.
It's totally changing, and so one has to keep in touch and develop themselves constantly.
So the PCR beyond COVID is still very much an instrument that you guys are utilizing for many other aspects of clinical findings, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I don't think the public may have necessarily known that. So can you, I guess most persons who would have done COVID testing would understand what PCR, or have an idea of what a PCR testing or test is. But there might be some persons out there who they heard the term, but I don't think they may understand what PCR test means or what it entails. So would any one of you guys want to elaborate on what the test itself means or is about?
Well, it's the definition of PCR,
Polymerase.
Tell me?
Polymerase chain
reaction. And this is a method whereby the small bits, the minute bits of RNA or DNA, you know, that we have in our chromosomes, are multiplied rapidly to huge numbers, large enough numbers that could be tested. It is a very secure, very dependable and reliable test.
And the results are how much percent efficacy, like in terms of your findings, how accurate?
It's almost 100%.
Okay.
Yes, very, very reliable.
So it's very dependable when it comes to
very reliable.
making certain diagnosis. And
it is a little more expensive than the old methods, but
really,
yes, it is.
I thought COVID would have made it cheap.
COVID was, you know, we were ranging around the 200 to 300 mark, I think.
Okay.
From lab to lab.
Okay.
So if you're doing other tests, you know, it's around the same thing. It is the same method. So it's a little more expensive
So
than
let me ask you a question, because is a DNA test, do they use a PCR method for DNA testing?
DNA testing as in what?
Like in terms of to establish paternity?
Somewhat, yes.
Is it something like this?
Yes.
So can I ask a very controversial question?
Okay.
Why don't we do DNA testing more readily, like in terms of if a client or someone is, because from what I understand there are some restrictions in St. Kitts, there is some legal aspect to it in terms of even if it's your child, you can't necessarily just, unless you're the legal guardian, like the primary guardian of the child, I don't think you can just go and have a DNA test. So I know.
Well, we at QDL, we do paternity testing. Very many interesting cases, as you could imagine.
Exactly. So
lots of shocks and surprises.
That is why I brought it up, because I don't think it's something that I hear very often. I hear so many, is a lot of back and forth, and I'm like, a simple test can just bring the truth to light.
Yes, but this is confidential. Everything we do in the lab is confidential. So we're not broadcasting.
Of course not.
You know, that we had an odd result in a paternity test. We don't broadcast.
So can I discuss like how much would a DNA test cost, like on average? I put you on the spot?
I think so.
No, like
it depends.
It just an average, not your price, but an average.
There are various. It depends on what you're doing. There's like the grandmother test, grandfather test, the uncle, the cousins, the father and the mother, all of that, and they all have different prices to them. Let's say in the ballpark of 1,000 to 1,500, perhaps, or more.
Wow.
Because if a whole family, a family of 9, want to come and get tested, that's going up in the thousands.
I understand that fully, but I didn't know you can test like, I thought it was just immediate, like your mommy and daddy. No. I didn't know you can test like other relatives and whatnot.
Yes, up to an extent. And there's the testing just for your personal information, and there's a legal aspect.
Yes, I was doing some sneaky research. I probably shouldn't have been doing.
So the legal is very much more stringent than the
Yes,
personal.
I understand. I mean, I could understand that for sure. So I'm sorry to sidetrack everyone. I was just really curious. I had to ask. So that covers all of the testing that you guys do, like in terms of categories of testings?
I think it does. I think it does.
Okay. So in terms of at the hospital though, I don't suspect we do DNA testings up there.
No, it's not available yet. Not available yet.
It's not available yet.
No, hopefully in the near future.
In the near future. But quick
Yes.
question, is it, like for instance, the blood work and whatnot, I wanted to ask on camera, like when it comes to the general public, when they come to the hospital, can you explain? Because sometimes when I'm at work, I notice, especially some of the elderly persons or retired persons who have to, I guess, maneuver the system when they come to JNF. I don't think some of them understand what, like when they come to JNF, where to go, what is expected, do you eat, like all of those, like if you could just give us a brief explanation from when you go to the doctor and he gives you the referral. You could try and explain to us
So,
yeah.
So when you come to the hospital with your requisition form, you are expected to go to the cashier to stamp the form. And if you're elderly, I think you're exempted. Once it's a health center, you don't have to pay. But if you're coming from specifically from a doctor office,
Like a private practitioner.
yeah, you have to pay. And then you come to the laboratory. Most, as you said, most patients sometimes are not aware that they have to fast, and sometimes we will tell the patient like, okay, well, you'll have to come back tomorrow because you didn't fast for this particular test.
Oh no.
Yeah, so yeah, some it's the chemistry test for the glucose, right? So they have to fast for those tests. But regular tests such as the CBC, if you come to do a urinalysis, everything else is straightforward.
And someone was asking me about the food handler's permit, like they wanted to know what was entailed, like which tests do you guys do for food handlers?
For food handlers permit, we normally do OCP, which is overcysts and parasites, and RPR, which is rapid plasma reagent. And that's a test for like syphilis. So those are the two tests we do for food handlers permit.
Okay, so it's not as extensive. I think the person was
But I think for the food handlers permit, for the OCP, they normally have to do the stool test over like a course of 3 days. So yeah, you come to
Do they
the
have
lab.
to take a detox?
No, they have to fast. It's like a test for like 3 days. So you come to the lab, we give you the container, and that will be the first specimen. So then you come the next day, we give you another
I
container.
didn't know it was all of this.
Yeah. That's
So you probably have to take a laxative if you're not regular.
I don't think we
no, I don't think that's recommended.
No. The other fasting test, that, if you're doing a lipid profile, it's best to come fasting as well.
Yeah.
So what does the lipid profile cover? That's like to tell.
Well, your cholesterol,
Okay.
triglycerides,
Okay.
your bad cholesterol, the LDL, the good cholesterol, the HDL. Yeah.
Because I don't think sometimes, because the word cholesterol, I don't think people understand. Cholesterol is basically soluble fat that's in the bloodstream.
Yeah.
That's what cholesterol is.
Yes.
So just to be clear, that's what we're testing when you do the lipid profile, is the amount of basically fatty,
Yes.
you know, yeah. Okay, so now that we have that clear, let me ask you, do we do the, what you call that, the personality spotlight? And then we'll take a break.
Our medical personality spotlight is Laverne O'Flaherty Millington. Laverne O'Flaherty Millington currently serves as the community nurse manager of the Millicent West Health Center, also known as the Newtown Health Center. With over 9 years of dedicated leadership in this role, she has been instrumental in advancing community health initiatives and supporting patient-centered care. Her professional journey began with higher education at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, where she qualified as a registered nurse and midwife. Driven by a passion for public health, she later pursued advanced studies at the University of Technology, Jamaica, earning credentials as a public health nurse. This academic foundation, combined with her practical experience, has equipped her to address diverse healthcare needs within the community. Beyond her professional commitments, Laverne values balance and personal fulfillment. She enjoys reading, listening to music, and spending quality time with her family. Our medical personality spotlight is Laverne O'Flaherty Millington.
Your horse's ValueMart IGA Blue Tag Specials.
Running April 16th to April 29th.
Quaker Captain Crunch cereals, just $13.79. Essential Everyday Fries, just $15.99. Hawaiian Punch drinks, just $16.99. Essential Everyday Stir Fry Vegetables, $8.99. Charmin Bathroom Tissue Essentials, 6 mega rolls, $23.99.
And now our value deals. Essential Everyday Cooking Oil Sprays, $9.99. Essential Everyday Canned Tomatoes, $4.49. IGR Essential Everyday Salad Dressing, $10.99. Essential Everyday Dish Detergent, $8.99. Soft Soap Liquid Hand Soap, $6.99. Equaline Mouthwash, $17.99. Shell Smart, Shell ValueMart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en
ValueMart.
Hey, shop smart, shop ValueMart.
Good evening and welcome back. My name is Dr. Monique Lescott, your host for this evening, and our topic for discussion is the role of laboratory investigations in the clinical setting. And I have with me Miss Nichelle Huggins. She works at the Joseph and France General Hospital in the pathology laboratory. And I have Miss Jasmine Hanley. She says she's a manager. I would like to call her the CEO of QDL. Can I say that? But she's a manager of QDL. So we're going to continue with our discussion. We're going to discuss the different categories of workers that we can encounter in a lab. So who wants to go first?
Well, the first person that the patient meets is the phlebotomist. Everything starts from phlebotomy, because phlebotomy is where specimen collection happens.
Phlebotomy is when you take the blood. So we're going to break it down in simple layman's terms for everybody to understand, because one patient asked, she did not know what phlebotomy was about.
Yeah.
So phlebotomy basically is when you draw the blood from the patient. Just the basic, you take the blood from the vein and
So we collect blood and we collect the urine and we collect stool from phlebotomy, and then those samples will go to the various departments that they belong to. So from there, as we said, they go to chemistry, hematology, and microbiology, and blood bank, urinalysis. So yeah.
So which category you said you're in? If I were to come to the lab, you're going to be the phlebotomist?
No, I am the student lab technician. So as I said earlier, that I work under the supervision of the medical technologist. So I will be placed in a different department, either like chemistry or hematology or blood bank. So I won't be the first person you see. I'm the person working behind the scenes processing the samples.
Understood. So can I ask you if you have a personal favorite or a personal preference when it comes to lab work?
My favorite department is chemistry. I just love chemistry in terms of like, as I said, dealing with the tumor markers, testing like the blood samples to determine like high cholesterols, the renal, liver, cardiac, and chemistry.
It's actually fun. You know what was my favorite part of it? When you I think it was, is it cytology? When you have to take the specimen, you have to, I think it has to be placed in alcohol, a fixative, and then you basically have to fix it on the I don't remember what you call it, to fix under the microscope in order for you to the slide. And when I did it, it was interesting because it was only two colors. It was either light purple or dark purple, and you kind of had to figure out from the look of the cell, what type of cell it is and where does it come from on the human body now.
So yes,
that was something else. When you have to determine if you have any metastasis of cancer, and then you might take a biopsy from one part of the body. So that part of the body, the cells are organized in a particular way. So if there's a cancerous invasion, you're supposed to be able to tell the difference of the morphology in between. That was quite interesting for me. I like that. So that's what we do as well?
Yes.
That's what you were talking about with the cancer markers?
No. That's the actual tissue preparation.
Okay.
So when the tissue gets to the lab, it is fixed. It goes through a process of alcohols and other chemicals, and it is taken and put onto, it is trimmed first. The pathologist and his or her assistant will trim the biopsy to the sections that they want to use. Then it is embedded in
Formalin?
parafilm, and put onto the microtome. On the microtome,
You see, I can't remember all of these jargon, but I do remember doing it.
yes, the microtome cuts the tissues at a very, very minute
Like a thin.
width. Yes,
Yeah.
and it has to be stained, and the pathologist and the histotech, if there's one, can
I
have a look.
actually love doing it. I liked it a lot.
I had enjoyed doing it when at my
It's
time. too.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yes.
So maybe if you have an overflow of work, you can call me to come and
We
help
don't
you
do
out.
that to see. We do cytology.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Gotcha. Okay. So at QDL, I was asking her, so when it comes to you, what do you do?
My
like, on a-
specialty
yeah.
is cytology.
Okay.
Yeah. So I accept it's mostly pap smears. We prepare them. There are two types of collections. There's the conventional, where the cells are placed onto a slide, and there is the liquid-based cytology, which is a more modern, and that's placed in a vial, and there's a preparation.
Oh, that's when you put
acid.
the swab and you have to
not
put...
the swab.
It's not a swab?
No, it's a brush, a cyto brush.
I thought it was
The
a-
swabs are not allowed in cytology. Not, some people don't know that, but they're not
Oh.
allowed. It's a
I think I
cervical,
might
but
have
it looks
to
like
sue
a little.
someone for some malpractice.
There's a little a broom-like
Like a
brush.
a brush.
Right.
Okay.
That is what you use, and you put that in liquid cytology, or you can use a spatula if you're using the conventional.
I think I prefer the brush. The spatula seems to be a bit invasive.
But you have wherever you're going, they have to have the vial for the
it.
fixative,
Ah.
right? And then that is prepared in the lab as well, and they're all stained and red, screened.
How long does that take, the process from start to finish?
A few days. We try to turn around within 2 weeks.
Wow.
Because the number that you get, and
So you do it in batches?
more or less, yes.
If we talk about like the urines, I don't think many people. So we also do urinalysis where we would test the urine. I don't think many people know what we do with the urine.
Yep. Please explain to the public what we're doing with our fluids.
So the
The
urine.
old days they tasted it for the
That's
sugar
not
content.
true. You serious?
It's very true. Continue.
I was not going to survive in the old days.
Well, in modern times now, we have like a small instrument with the dipstick method where we have a strip and you can dip it in the urine and you can read the color changes.
Yes.
And then also we do microscopy where we would put the sample under the microscope and we would check.
I don't think people understand sometimes if you have kidney issues, the urine sample is important as well.
Yeah, and then also like in terms of like when we have a lot of bacteria, sometimes we could determine that the patient has an infection and all those stuff. And also in certain diseases, you will, or just certain instances, you will also see crystals. So we have there are different types of crystals. And also, I think Ms. Hanley mentioned it earlier, the trichomonas. The Trichomonas vaginalis is a very common parasite here in St. Kitts. It's very common.
We're gonna stick a note on that because I only came across that information actually a few days ago. So I would love you to elaborate on that when we come back. So we're going to take, is it the health news with Dr. Jensen Morton?
Good day, I'm Dr. Jensen Morton. I'm the Director of Health Projects and Strategic Initiatives, and today we're having a bit of insight in something that the Ministry of Health is partnering with our diaspora to try to get on board. We have for many years been trying our best to improve our emergency health services, and we've had quite a number of improvements that we've been able to do over the years. But one that is really dear to all of our hearts, that is a very big help, is being spearheaded by someone in our diaspora, daughter of the soil, born and raised right here in St. Kitts, Dr. Kayla Maloney. She's an emergency medicine specialist, and she's currently in the Federation. So.
Hello everybody, nice to meet you. My name is Dr. Maloney. I grew up at Shadwell, went to Washi, and it's really great to be here to help out. We've been spending the entire week in A&E, both with the doctors and with our medics and ambulance crew, to see what we can do to help give back to this lovely nation of ours.
Dr. Maloney is an emergency medicine she's an emergency medicine specialist. She works at Rutgers University Hospital in Newark, New Jersey. Newark, New Jersey, and she actually has come to the Federation with an entire team of her colleagues, of some very seasoned, some very well-trained, world-class emergency medicine specialists. And as she indicated, the main purpose of this part of the trip is part of a much longer program and partnership and relationship between the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and Rutgers University Hospital for the sake of the development of our emergency medicine services. And this would be our ER physicians, our EMTs, those are the emergency medical technicians, even our emergency room nurses, just exposure, training, and all of the above to get our emergency services in particular top class. So this is actually the second visit that Dr. Maloney is paying to the Federation. So
yes, it has been. So the first time we were here was last year. We were able to kind of just observe A&E, the emergency room, and do a needs-based assessment, figure out what the doctors needed from us, how we can give back to them. And throughout our meeting here and the conversations we've had throughout the year, we decided that just working with the EMTs and on the ambulances was going to be the most beneficial second step. And so that's why we came back here. So what we've been doing is running through patient cases, lectures based on cases that we've witnessed here in the Federation to figure out the best way to fill in any potential knowledge gaps the doctors have and just work cases with them. And our second team are actually Dr. Sadi, Dr. Pasataro, and Dr. Ren. So they have actually spent this week seeing how our dispatchers talk to our ambulance crew, being on the ambulance and going for rides to see patients, going to the call centers and going to our outposts like Pogson and Mary Charles to figure out the best way to make our system more efficient and for the paramedics and medics to give the best care to the Federation it can.
all right. So thank you, Dr. Maloney, and we'll have more information as the relationship continues to foster and as we continue to improve our emergency medicine services. We'll ensure to keep the Federation as in tune as possible with every development that we make. Thank you.
Looking for a new vehicle? Horsford's automotive division has exactly what you need. Reliable performance, modern design, and a team committed to getting you on the road with confidence. From everyday drives to exciting upgrades, quality and service come standard. Ready to refresh your home? Visit Ashley Furniture Home Store at Horsford's. Discover statement pieces, stylish accents, and comfort designed to elevate your space instantly. Planning a project? The Building Center provides premium paints Mixed to perfection and expert guidance every step of the way. Bring your ideas to life with ease. Automotive, home style, building essentials, all in one trusted destination. Make it simple. Make it smart. Experience everything Horsford's has to offer today. Try Horsford's first.
Good evening and welcome back. My name is Dr. Monique Lescott, your host for this evening's show. It's almost that time where sadly it's almost time to wrap everything up. This is one of our final segments, but before we go, we're going to elaborate on the last subsection of the topic we were discussing before we went for commercial break. And before we left, it was Miss Huggins. Mm-hmm. She was talking to us about certain parasitic findings that you come across in the laboratories. So if you can please elaborate for us again.
So basically for the urines, the most common one we see is the Trichomonas vaginalis.
So it can come up in the urine sample? Mm-hmm. You don't need to do a pap smear for that?
No, you can. It's either in the urine or the wet prep from the vaginal swab. Mm. So you can see it in those kind of specimens. But as of late, it's mostly common in our antenatal patients. Mm-hmm. Antenatal meaning pregnant. So mm-hmm. that's what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
what about the parasites at stool?
Oh, yeah, the different. Yeah, that's a good one.
The common ones we have here in St. Kitts are E. coli, Giardia, Entamoeba histolytica.
Any hepatitis?
Hepatitis, Hep B?
Mm-hmm. Must we find that in blood though?
No, I mean like when you use the bathrooms, any parasitic stuff when you use bathrooms, anything when it comes to hygiene. I know hepatitis is a virus, but I know you can pick up certain things like infection-wise when you use public toilets. I think hepatitis A was...
hepatitis A is the fecal oral route.
That's I know my brains wasn't gone.
You can pick up Trichomonas as well as Gardnerella vaginalis.
Really? In the bathroom?
Yes, there have been studies that have shown that. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to, I guess, recap what we went over before. So I will have you guys just remind us again the role of the laboratory in pathological and clinical investigations and the different subsections of our lab techs, and we'll just wrap it up. So who wants to be our concluding?
Well, as we indicated at the very beginning, lab is a vital part of the healthcare system. We provide the evidence for the illness. There is, in practically all the diseases, there is an equivalent laboratory test. Mm-hmm. So illnesses can be confirmed by doing laboratory tests. Mm-hmm. So the purpose of clinical labs include diagnostic testing, screening and early detection, monitoring and disease management, as well as research and innovation. We didn't say too much about that. But medical technologists, which is a term for the professional in the lab, can get into research as well as work in a clinical laboratory. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to appeal, if I may, to young people who are interested in science. Mm-hmm. There's a real shortage of medical technologists around, and I'd like to appeal to any of you who are interested in this field. It is an exciting field. To visit one of the labs, see what we're about.
Ask questions.
Ask questions, and maybe you could get a scholarship.
Mm-hmm. Or pointed in the right direction for one.
To get to study medical laboratory technology.
Yeah,
great.
yeah, if you're not really maybe like an extroverted person, you just want to work behind the scenes, yeah, this is a job for you.
I found it interesting though when I did it, because we did have a good portion of medicine. We did have to know what goes on in the lab, and I found it really, really interesting. So I'll have to take this opportunity to thank you guys for all the work that you do. You're basically the frontliners behind the front line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. So we, thank you guys for coming on the show. It was a really interesting conversation and discussion. And of course, whenever you guys feel free to come back and we can elaborate a lot more on other laboratory topics as you see fit. Okay? So thank you guys for tuning in to the show. It was really nice having you, and thanks for having me. Have a good night.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.